Boom, what's good, people? Just want to give a quick update. Things I've been up to. The main thing I've been trying to resolve these last couple of days, these last week and a half, is my injuries. So recently, I'm going through a slight knee injury, niggle. I had this last year. So basically, last year I couldn't even squat. I basically had to revert from barbell squatting to dumbbell goblet squats. And yeah, it's very frustrating having to do that. And then I discovered last year that my hamstrings, I'd never worked my hamstrings ever, really. 10 years of lifting, I never worked my hamstrings properly. But yeah, I started doing hamstring curls on the bench, lying hamstring curls, and those really, really resolved my pain. And I was able to get back onto it. But this year, the pain in my right knee came back. And I was wondering what the hell's going on. I thought the hamstring curls were going to be the cure. I did a lot of research online, and eventually I came across a concept of doing squats in the morning, specifically air squats and Hindu squats. So now I've started cycling, doing them basically, swapping between those two. I do them, yeah, I try to do as many reps as I can in the morning, in two sets, and that increases the blood flow to the knee. And I definitely have noticed a significant improvement. But today it was kind of went backwards. It was kind of a pain, a lot more painful than normal. But anyway, that's injury number one. Injury number two is my shoulder, my right shoulder. Now this happened in 2018. Um, I remember specifically, actually happened in 2017. The injury specifically, I was playing rugby, and I remember coming out with ruck. This is a trick. We're doing a training drill, and I felt my shoulders just feeling weak. And I went back to bench press in the gym a few days later, and I just could not bench without pain. It was so painful. And basically, for the next 5 months, I couldn't lift my arm to the side properly. I couldn't lift my arm straight. I couldn't open the door, like pull to open the door, without significant pain. And it took me a long time to figure out what it was and how to resolve it. And basically, I'd never worked my rotator cuff, and I started doing things like face balls, and that was all good. Um, but then maybe this is because I'm not doing face balls enough. This happened. This injury came back. First, it was my left shoulder last year, and then I resolved it this year by doing rotator cuff exercises. Then my right shoulder was hurting again for the first time in like 7 years, 8 years. So then I had to think, okay, what's the root cause? Because even rotator cuff exercises are not helping, and the face balls they could help, um, but I've been doing similar exercises, and I just looked at the anatomy again. What is the main part of the body that the face ball is working, and it's the rear delt. So basically, all this time, all these years, I'd been held back on my bench press and my pressing movements because I'd never worked my rear delts. The rear delts are very hard to isolate. I'd done a ton of pulling movements, I'd done a ton of rowing movements, but I'd never been able to isolate them. So then I went on a binge trying to find out how to really isolate them. And I came across this guy called John Meadows, who's passed away, rest in peace. And he recommended these exercises called hang and swings with dumbbells. And I came across this YouTuber who is with Larry Wheels. He's often in his videos. Andrew Jacked. He's now Olympian muscle, Olymp- basically the muscle Olympia for bodybuilding. And he has massive rear delts. And I looked at what he was doing, and he was doing similar movements, basically rear delt flies with a dumbbell. And I started doing that, and in about 4 days, my pain significantly reduced. I've got a hell of a lot more range of motion, like this. Doing that was excruciating a few days ago, but now it's coming back. But anyway, as a result of these injuries, I'm starting to look, even in the video, I'm starting to look a bit weak, and not myself. It's just weird. When I get injured, I just start to look very not myself. I look, yeah, younger and just not full of, don't have that vitality. So I'm hoping that when I after a few weeks of doing these rear delt exercises and strengthening this freaking weak point, which I'd never strengthened in 10 years of lifting, that'll basically be able to say goodbye to this injury once and for all. And I'll eventually be able to break the long-term goal of being able to bench press 140 kilograms or 315 pounds for reps naturally. I got very close to it. In 2015, I did 2 reps of 130 kilograms. I think that's about 300 pounds or maybe 280, 290 or something. I don't know. But it's very close to 300 pounds. But I want to get 315 pounds on a bench press for reps. And yeah, rotator cuff's going to help me for sure. But for one thing that's definitely going to help me is the rear delt exercises. I can't, but like most, the reason why I never did them is because I just thought it was a bodybuilding exercise. I'm not into bodybuilding. I'm into strength building. I do go to the gym to build strength. But if you have weak points, it's gonna hamper you. So anyway, that's what we're gonna be trying, and that's my update. With that said, take care and peace.